Okay, hi everybody. So today what we're gonna discuss is how close, as Emma said, how close we are to becoming a cashless society in the GCC. So as we all have experienced, the COVID-19 pandemic has dramatically changed normal for us. And with this, it has also changed the way we carry out transactions in our daily lives. In the last few months, e-commerce and payments has seen a boom over the last, since May, I would say since March, I think. And cashless transactions have made monumental strides. There was a recent EY survey that was conducted that found 90% of consumers in the UAE and Saudi shifted their purchases online. And in the first week of May itself, 92% of consumers in the UAE and Saudi changed their shopping habits because they were uncomfortable going to public places. So right now, what we're going to start with is to have each speaker introduce yourself, what you do, and what observations have you seen in the last few months and how it has impacted your business. Perhaps we could start with Abdulwahed.
Thank you very much, Nabilah, and thanks to everybody watching us. And I appreciate this invitation, and I hope I'm going to highlight a few observations that we have came across, the last few months because of the COVID-19. And I think the COVID-19, it's a common hit to everybody, and it is one hit to the whole world. It affected the economies of the world, it affected the trading, the banks, businesses, the travel industries, the tourism. So the norms of the people's lives, has changed in a way, and the priorities, has changed. Now, health becoming is number one priority, on the individual level. The survival of the companies, I think, becoming now it's a priority, for the business continuity. So there is, these are the things that I believe, in my opinion, it is a standard, across the globe. In terms of us, if I highlight, and more specifically on what sort of an impact had on our company here, definitely there was a financial impact because we depend on the traveler from the GCC. However, having mentioned that, we are still very much busy working on a number of a project related to the payment technology. And the reason for that, because we are in the business of the electronic payment. We are in the switch business, we are in the data business. So we are still very busy, having mentioned earlier, the impact of COVID-19, in fact, and we are working very, very closely with our regulator in terms of, launching a number of a project. On the short term, if I may share with you, we noticed that, or we observed that, both businesses and consumer highly alerted about this current situation, and they keep contacting us, in terms of they need to use more the e-means or e-channels. The non-cash payment by consumer.
I understand that. I saw a news somewhere that says your e-wallet saw about 1,257% surge in transactions in March alone. How did you deal with that, or was it surprising, and what kind of impact did it have?
In fact, yeah, thank you, Nabilah. In fact, this is the e-wallet that we call it Benefit Pay, or we call it as a national e-wallet, and it is a very simple. We have something called the electronic fund transfer system. Okay, that's deal with the three services for basically to deal with the money transfer and money payment, and we categorize them as Fawri Plus, which is for any amount to be transferred with this 1,000 dinar and less, and the Fawri, which is anything above 1,000 dinar, and we have Fawatir for the electronic bill payment presentment. To answer your questions, in the last 3 months, we really found that a lot of demands coming from the individuals and the customers, to use this wallet. And in fact, what we did, we have transferred those services that already as infrastructure, we have it here in our company, to the wallet. Now, because the mobile, it's in the hands of everybody. Okay, and our intention is to make it, as a lifestyle where people they use that, while just sitting in their homes, sitting in their offices, wherever they're sitting, and they use all the gadgets, you know, and just on that instrument. So there is something. I mean, we expected the increment. However, the 1,200 you mentioned, it was not expected, but I think the COVID-19, one of the things that speed up the process and speed up encouraging the people to go towards the e-payment. So that's what we have. In fact, and we notice really there's a fast adoption, and people, they are moving towards the digital transformation. And also because of the fears of the cash usage, by the way, many people, they went to use the wallet. And it says something that I want to mention. We have the Eid holidays, as you know, and we have the small kids where they receive, we call it, I'm sure the guys, they know Al-Eidiyya, okay, where the small, the Eid. So believe it or not, now there was without our involvement, I mean, just among the people, you know, they like keep sending their messages to their own friends, and don't give my kids cash. You know, if you want anything, you transfer it through Benefit Pay. And just to share with you a figure that, you know, last Eid, just the last Eid, I mean, the first day, there was like 250,000 transactions within 24 hours. And I'm talking about small payment or small transfer. I mean, this is only for the idea. So there is, you know, a lot of positive impact from the electronic means. Having mentioned that, Nabilah, we are in fact, although there's an impact of the COVID-19, however, you know, we had a strategy, and we work closely with our regulator in our central bank, and we had a vision. Okay, this vision is part of the national agenda. And we worked along with our regulator. I mean, the agenda is to go cashless, and that's before the COVID-19, by the way, to empower digital services and digital transformation, and, you know, elevating the innovation product and services like in open banking, seamless payment, and whatever related to the e-channel. So the default will be online. The default, I think, will be the online services. You know, more virtual financial institutions coming. So non-cash payment, I think it will be, this is the one that everybody will move on. And even, I think, those countries that have, I think, all the countries now, they started it, you know, towards that direction. And we started it before that, and we are moving on to that direction.
Okay, speaking of acceleration, are you experiencing the same as a, you know, PSP provider, Muhannad?
Hello, Nabilah. Hello, everyone. Definitely, yes, the impact of Corona was extremely positive on HyperPay and all other online platforms. Actually, what happened that is, like, in 1 week, we received new orders to go online from clients that maybe usually we receive in a quarter or so, maybe around 700 or 800 order or request from clients to go online, like in 1 week. So we had to find quick solutions for those merchants. I would say my team, maybe we were working 18, 19 hours per day just to follow up on everyone, because we know that this is the only way to make money now. And this is the only way to serve end users even now. And, you know, in a country like KSA, the government was pushing the cashless and, you know, moving to digital since maybe 2-3 years. They were extremely serious in that, and they take major actions about this. We were moving really well, to be honest, but what happened that everyone moved in 1 week. So the pressure was extremely high on us, on the network, on the infrastructure, on everyone. And of course, when they did the lockdown, it was a complete lockdown, actually, for a long time. Yeah, the only way is to take your orders is online. If you want to eat, you have to order online. If you want medicine, you have to order online. If you, whatever you want, you have to go online. So I think, there were a huge movement from the offline to online in KSA. And again, as I said, you could see new categories and new merchants with very strange, and we never had those merchants online. And all of a sudden, they came online and they were making like millions of riyals every month from the online channels.
Mohammed,
So,
experience the same? Sorry, and from your point of view, I mean, both of you are in Saudi, right? And predominantly your market.
no, Muhammad in Kuwait, I'm in Saudi.
Oh, okay. But, what I've read, I understand that your biggest markets are in Saudi Arabia.
So,
correct me if I'm wrong.
Kuwait. I'm from
Kuwait.
Kuwait.
Ah, I see. Okay. So how is that in Kuwait then?
Okay, Kuwait. So when Global it has a diversified business. So we are in digital healthcare, we are in digital tourism, digital financial services, and gaming and content. So basically, we saw some industries completely busted. So like the tourism, digital tourism, it's a digital also. It's an electronic payment, but it was zero. There was no tickets, no hotels, no reservations. But in the gaming industry, it was booming. It was not booming, it was exploding. So the transactions that were coming from the electronic payment was perfect. And that's what substituted what happened and hedged what happened in the tourism. In digital healthcare, we launched, we were having a vaccine management, and we were alerting about this COVID-19 number of cases and breaking news about the situation that is happening outside. So we found attraction. So we introduced a new product inside the platform, which is the wellness survey. So how healthy your mental is during the COVID-19. So you can take care of yourself. You have this all views that is coming from Twitter, from WhatsApp, TV, social media, your family, everybody's panicked. It's what's gonna happen? Are we gonna be for life like that? So these negativities have increased a lot of anxiety inside people. So introduce that wellness survey so to look into yourself if you are having that bad habits during the sleep or so. It's been done by our team in Canada, in our office in Canada, in Toronto, and it was great. It's done also digitally. And the merchants, we were seeing merchants that went completely low in transactions. During the lockdown, the complete lockdown, there was no delivery. Deliveries only were for by an appointment, and that appointment you registered in the government app, and then you go during that time to take your groceries and go back. So other merchants couldn't reach out. So we see the transactions went down for them. Many orders to transform. So that's why we introduced an e-commerce less than half an hour, your complete online store is ready. So setting up a complete online store in less than half an hour to upload all your products, and you are digitally ready to sell and co-op via either Instagram using the payment links or via an app that is published inside the app stores. So all in all, it's a situation that has we become resilient on it. So we've been shortening the resources, we've been optimizing. During the lockdown, we've been having a lot of disaster recovery, that business continuity strategies that used to be on paper. We experimented them, we exercised them in actual reality. And we found that we are putting
change in how your businesses operate. Tarek, I understand that PointCheckOut is a system that helps use rewards and miles to buy things, to purchase things. Perhaps you could explain a little bit more, and how, I'm assuming that all kind of search, because everybody's going through some sort of austerity measure in their household itself. So they are trying to maximize loyalty points if they can to purchase like the necessities. So if you could just tell, how
especially if you're not able to use them to fly anymore. So so PointCheckOut, I mean, we are a payment method like you mentioned already. to enable consumers to spend their existing loyalty points, specifically online as well, also with some offline channels. So with the time in which you're not able to travel, of course, or use them on your airline, the idea is that you can use this, additional payment method or cash, if you will, or cash equivalent, to be able to do a purchase as well. So this is one of the core businesses, and of course, as representing alternate payments, if you will, anything that's just simply not cards. We definitely have also seen an uptake in the spending. Like you mentioned, people are looking for the additional money that they have, especially the digital savvy. And also with a lot of the lockdowns and with the COVID situation, we've also launched an additional app as well, which is a marketplace app that allows merchants to be able to sell also and collect payments at the same time, utilizing payment links, for example, just like Mohammed had mentioned. And of course, the uptake has been also tremendous. I think this was across the board as well. Between April and end of June, there was almost 400% growth in the merchants using the app as well, which is a good positive story. But also would love to highlight the fact that, and since we're talking about digitizing and the cashless society, we've also bumped into so many of the pains that the merchants go through as well when they want to go digital, whether it's because how do I start an e-commerce store and how do I go digital? And a lot of them are looking at accepting payments for the very first time. So as a consumer, I've been regularly using my card and you don't think about it. But as a business owner, the minute you say, okay, now I need to accept credit card, it's a whole different game, and every country has its own challenges in getting there.
It seems to be like a very steep learning curve for a lot of businesses. And from what I can tell, all of you have basically done something to adapt to what the pandemic has, how the pandemic has affected people's daily lives. Perhaps you could go into a little bit more about how you've pivoted your business strategy to cater to this change. And I would like to encourage everybody to just have a sort of nice discussion. Just jump in whenever you feel like. It'll be more lively.
Okay. Please, go ahead.
I just want, it's okay, Nabilah. I just wanted to, to share with you, because I like figures and numbers. If that's okay, I have just very quick a few slides, just to show you the way, the behavior of the people in terms of using the electronic channels means. And I have few, like 3 or 4 very quickly, if that's okay with everybody, so I can go ahead and share with you. Is that fine?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so let me go for the share and host disabled. Okay, well, I cannot see that the host says disabled participant screen sharing.
I can do it for you.
Okay.
1 minute.
So we need your permission, Emma.
Here you go.
You're okay now?
I'll do it.
Okay. Okay, excellent.
You became a host, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Very quickly, you can see the slide. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see it. This is basically I'm giving you statistics only on the e-wallet, by the way, on the benefit pay statistics. If you look at the, the first one, we have over 3,864 merchants, and that's the increase happened, I'm talking from January to May. So we had a big jump because the merchant, everybody's calling us, they want to join in order to receive their money through the wallet, and they want to reduce receiving cash, because of the health concern. The same thing I mentioned earlier about the Fawry Plus. You can see this is the transactions, by the way, it's less than 1,000 dinar a day. This is as a rule by the central bank, and the transaction takes place, by the way, within 6 to 7 seconds. And the average transactions around Bahraini dinars, we're talking about around 50 to 60 dinars. So the value that we have since January to May, it's around 683 million dinar. And we're talking about small money transfer. That shows you, you know, this is mainly related to the individuals who are using the e-wallet or benefit pay. The same thing with the QR, you know, the people, they start.
Would you say this is a significantly big number compared to, you know, what you had maybe last year or before the pandemic?
Yeah, I'll come to you. I'll show you the next slide. It shows you the, you know, the jump. Okay. I mean, of course, we're talking here in Bahrain in terms. I'm talking relative because the population it's around 1.6, 1.7 million. So it's relatively speaking. If you look at the relative, then you can see there's a, you know, a positive, you know, a good impact. So the same thing with the, you know, with the QR purchases, and that's what we're encouraging the people, you know, to use or to scan the QR. Fawatir, it's a bill payment. Again, many schools, they approached us, many small merchants, shoppers, Instagrammers, you know, people who sell fish, we call them the fishmen or fishmongers. I don't know whether that's the correct terms or not. So many people now, they use the benefit pay as a mean of payment because they want to reduce the cash. Now, just as to share with you, see the jump, Nabilah, from the merchant point of view. So we put just to show you the quarterly base. Look at quarter 3, you know, we had 315, and quarter 4, 2019, we had 386. Look at the jump, quarter 1, 2020, you know, almost we reached 800 merchant. And this is what I was referring that, you know, and this numbers keep increasing, you know, as we move on. In terms of the, you know, the I mean, the total contribution of the FTS, as you can see on the screen, you know, we have like Fawri Plus, Fawatir, you're talking about 7.8 billion Bahraini dinar. Okay, that's only in 6 months time, which is equal, I think, around $20.7 billion. That's all paid and transferred electronically. And you can see the jump, you know, for the Fawri Plus only, which is, as I mentioned earlier, referring to a question. Look at the May and June. In fact, even if you look at from March, you can see, you know, there's a big also jump in terms of the transactions and in terms of the value. The same thing lately also, we introduced the fuel, by the way. You go and you park your car and you put fuel in your car. While you're sitting in your car, by the way. You didn't have to jump out of the car. You just, you know, it is based on a technology which they call a geo location. The moment you reach the fuel station and you connect your mobile through the pump number, and then the moment the fuel is done, you get a message. Okay, that 25 dinars, and you approve or you decline. So, and this, by the way, this is something that it's only 2 months time, and we got around 100, as you can see, 112,000 customer, and the value 2.6 million BD. That's only in 2 months time. Now, these are some statistics that I thought, you know, I'll share with you about. You know, what we have done so far. So I don't know, shall I continue, or maybe Mohammed, you have something, and then maybe I will. So I don't want to take the time of.
That was
that's
really
great, actually.
Sorry, that was really because it gave context that between starting from April, everything just jumped because that's when the lockdowns happened, and basically everyone just had to do everything online, from work to purchasing to school, everything.
Yeah.
So, Mohammed, you are more involved in, you know, a more holistic aspect of a person's life. You have healthcare and then all sorts of services. So maybe you could tell us about your experience within that period itself.
So as I mentioned before, yeah, actually the question that I was answering is the pivoting. So the e-commerce, expediting the strategy of the e-commerce used to be planned for next year. So it's been launched during the pandemic. For the healthcare, also, it was a telemedicine platform completely. So we slice it and we expedite the launch of the vaccine and alerts and management, plus and in coordination, of course, with the biggest vaccine entities. either without making a marketing to the name, and the government, Ministry of Health. So, and when we are talking, we are in 19 countries. So I'm talking about Kuwait and other countries. We've been doing totally different strategy. So I cannot summarize all the strategies in that in a few minutes. But overall, we found that a lot being encouraged to go digital. So central banks even encouraged that. They increased the limit for NFC. So we were having the NFC, we built the NFC capability on mobile. And there are the NFC cards, which were the fastest and quickest for people. So people, they don't want to punch their PIN inside the box. So they would like to tap. So they increased the limit on that. So lots and lots of transactions being increased on that. NFC point of sale being increasing in request. So introducing the agency banking inside Kuwait is offering us more opportunities to tap into that area of offering the point of sales and offering the services around the holistic payment solution. But One Global, it has also a consumer interfacing app, so which is OG Money. And in OG Money, we do have OG Wallet. And in OG Wallet, it's a stored value account, and it's in some countries, it's a Bitcoin acceptance also platform. So the crypto is there, an acceptance of it. Card on file, where we process an existing card, either Visa or MasterCard enabled, and also the switch, which is equivalent to benefit in Kuwait. It's called KNet. They did KNet Fast, and the KNet Fast, the K-Fast is more into the wallet. Also, you are storing your card for KNet, the debit card inside the wallet, and they offer it as a service to us as a PSPs, as a super merchants. So there are a lot happened in that context. We cannot summarize everything, but what I would like to say that we're going to do a digital transformation platform that will help fintechs and startups to pass this, like the chasm of this situation, and reach to the biggest clients, which are the banks. So this is going to be heard of later this quarter. And there are a lot happening in the space of the crypto. So using blockchain, so now it's a necessity, because digital identity is very important now. And going to the digital, so you need to have also digital identity. So attaching digital identity to the wallet was from day one an important aspect. That's why we created the digital identity management one-end platform that takes all your credential and verify you and do the KYC and AML across all sanction lists globally, and then clear you and whitelist you to start using the transactions. So all these strategies been there, but it's been now more sophisticated to cater, because lots and lots of suspicious transactions been happening during that situation.
That's also one of the questions from the audience is how do you build trust with your customers? So with a lot of transactions and activity going online, I'm sure security and trust is also a concern.
Exactly. So we built that actually based on three major components. The first one, that we've been around since 2004. So the customers knowing us and they are dealing with us. And actually we are getting new customers that they are interesting to join our network. The second thing is that, and our community is big, is over 2 million customers. So we are, the second one is the credibility of all the organizations that we are working with. Big banks that are within our networks, and also big networks, card networks within our network. The third one is the licensing. We are getting the license from CPP. We are the first to issue a PSP for electronic payment in Bahrain. There was Sadat for cash, and we were for electronic. We are the first to apply in Egypt for merchant aggregator, in Sudan for merchant aggregator and PSP, in Uganda the same, in Kuwait now with this agency banking, we are among the first also applying for that.
So So
So
basically,
this increase the level of trust with the customer.
yeah, in terms of trust, you would say it's partnering with credible, credible and reliable partners. Is it the same for you, Tarek and Muhannad, on the security and trust?
Mohammed, please start.
Okay, yeah, actually, having strategic partners and strong partners in the market is a necessity, definitely. In HyperPay, at least in KSA, we are partnering with every single bank. In UAE, we have 3-4 big banks. In Bahrain, we have banks. Of course, we integrated with benefits. Even PointCheckOut is also very soon will be available on HyperPay. As Muhammad said, Abdulwahed, it's the issue that we were facing on like March and April, early April. We are facing a situation where we are responsible for making the life easier for everyone, for the end user and the merchant. So we forced. It's not by choice. It's either we serve those merchants or they will never go live. They will lose jobs. They will lose money. They maybe the end user, they will never get what they need for life. So we had to definitely work extremely fast, innovative, getting, usually we take something around 250 merchant live per month. On March and April, we were taking like 500 to 700 merchant live. So we have to do innovative things to make these processes are faster, because it's not only a process from HyperPay. The merchant should have a bank account, you have approvals, so they have to make the integration. So again, like everyone, we have this bill payment or HyperPay. It's very customized, the one we have. So we try to take everyone live on that first, just to take him quickly. We try to, especially the very important merchants, just like big supermarkets, let's say, or chains or pharmacies. So we had to take them live on the bill payment first, so they can serve their clients immediately till they get ready on the normal online platform. So seriously, it was not a joke.
I can imagine.
You know what? A small technical issues. I'm sorry, just a small technical issues on the capacity of the internet, on the bandwidth. That happened one of the Thursday evening. Okay, it affected around 650,000 transactions in 1 hour.
Oh wow!
Okay, so it's seriously, it's not a joke.
I can imagine. When the lockdown happened in Dubai, actually, increased everybody's bandwidth, right, Tarek? Did you? You're based in the UAE, Tarek. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
That is so. A lot of the services here were, of course, accommodating in that regard. But I felt that, for example, converting the users into digital or cashless was a lot quicker and easier than converting the businesses there, right? So for the SMEs, what you need to go live, and this is an entire ecosystem that needed to be ready to scale at that. So getting in the leads to saying, 100, 200. Like Muhannad is saying, 700 merchants, it's a huge number in itself, especially when you literally double. But it's also about the entire ecosystem. You can't go live unless you have a bank account. And for a lot of the merchants, perhaps you need to change your trade license function and so on and so forth. You need to get your website ready. So there's so much more that a merchant would need to do to actually start accepting payments in itself. And that really has been, one of the key hiccups, if you will, to get so many of those merchants live themselves. Even things like eKYC, for example, and digital signatures. I mean, having to go meet people to get them to sign. I'm sure if that would have been already digital before we started, probably double the number of merchants that went online could have done it in the same period.
Seems like a very steep learning curve for everybody. perhaps we could also talk about from what all of you have experienced, the short-term and long-term impact of what you've learned from the last few months in your, and how you would manage your business going forward.
Okay, maybe I will start. Actually, we already, now, let's say from this month, we believe that things get back to normal. Now, the traffic or the spike time that happens in the past 3 months, I believe it's here to stay. It's not a temporary things. And people, they already switch it from offline to online. And they know now how to order. And still there is some risk, health risk, if you go out to supermarket or anything. So now actually we are developing, as like for HyperPay, we are developing a very innovative solutions to solve the cases that we couldn't solve during this pandemic. So including that, which is, we believe that it's very important for us, a product for the cash on delivery things. So it will be pay on delivery, not cash on delivery. So we have, we found that this is a very important solution that everyone should have because we don't want people to go back for cash on delivery, because cash on delivery was really bad on the merchant side. Mm-hmm. And it's against the vision of at least KSA and I believe the other GCC countries and actually the whole Middle East countries. So they want people to be cashless. They want people to move to digital solutions. Yeah. So that's why we started to find the solutions. We created 3 solutions, actually 3 during this pandemic to solve issues. But now we are focusing more on the major products that can solve issues in the future and to guarantee that people and merchants don't go back to use cash after this issue. So this is our vision now, actually, in HyperPay. I will leave it.
I'm assuming, yeah, it's probably the same for Abdulwahed and Tarek and Mohammed as well. Going forward, you take the lessons learned now and, rectify what you can.
I think one of the biggest battles moving forward is not so much, it's definitely long-term and here to stay, the move to digital from the ease, this is definitely there. But I think one of the biggest battles also going to be for the businesses, what can we learn from digital? Remember that digital has a huge amount of data that you can collect. And today, every e-commerce, the larger your operations becomes, the more you would want to put your payments, which is one of the biggest reasons why baskets are being dropped online. You want to put payments really in the center, so you can really look at how could I learn from how people are paying, when are they paying, how long do they take to pay, and what items they're buying, and so on and so forth, to really focus on the data to serve both the merchant and the consumer better. Definitely here to stay.
Sorry, I'm a bit cautious on time. We have 5 minutes before we...
We've actually got 20 minutes left, but just a bit of admin. For those attendees who are posting lots of questions in the chat, please can you post it in the question and answer session, because that's the one that Nabilah will be referring to. Many people are putting it in the chat. And also, my bad, but Abdulwahed, please can you make me the host again? Thank you.
Can I make you what? The
host.
Right, so you can make me the host. All right, I'm going now.
So how do I do it? Not sure.
Just right click on my name and put make host.
Ah, okay. I click in your name?
Yep, right click and make host.
Or you can remove them altogether, I guess.
And for the audience.
I clicked on your name, but I'll make host. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'm going to disappear again into a logo. Bye, everyone.
Okay, you're okay now? Okay. If I may, okay, thank you. If I may add just very quickly in terms of the learning, and then maybe we'll go to the questions. I think it's very important, you always go back to the user experience, okay? And it's not the matter that, okay, we go online and we provide the e-channels or we provide the the wallets and what have you. I think it's very, very important that, you know, also people, they would like to use the channel, but in a very simple, easy way. And that's what we learned. In fact, our model, the way we did it, you know, on Benefit Pay, it's a mobile based. Okay, so you don't have to remember which is linked, of course, to the IBAN. So you don't have to remember the IBAN. You don't have to remember the name of the customer. Let's say if I want to transfer money to you, I want to pay. I just want to know your mobile, and I put your mobile, and I put the name, sorry, the mobile and the amount, and then it's done. Okay, in seconds. So user experience is very, very important, because the people now, you know, after, you know, simplicity, after, you know, a very simple usage of the gadgets. I mean, if you bring, okay, whatever the high sophisticated solution, but there's a complexity, then, you know, the customers will be hesitant to use that. So this is something that I think I just wanted to share with you. And because of this, by the way, because of the feature, it's mobile, and that's why one of the key success factor that we have in our national e-wallet.
The key takeaways from what we've discussed in the last 40 minutes or so is that the lessons are security and trust is one thing, and then, like you said, ease of use of platforms. And then Muhannad mentioned the ability to, Mohammed and Tarek, you guys mentioned the ability to take on more customers in a short period of time. That is something that you need to sort of manage, be able to manage going forward. The key question that we're trying to answer, well, not question, we're trying to assess, is if you think the pandemic is a catalyst for a cashless GCC. You know, predominantly in, I would imagine UAE and Saudi, a lot of transaction, I mean, even in Kuwait and Bahrain, like most of it is online. So do you think this is a catalyst to maybe become a cashless GCC in the next couple of years, or how far away is this?
It depends, if I may take this, my turn. It depends on what you define cashless. Because if it is cashless, you're talking about card to be cashless. So most of GCC countries are banked people. So they're already using cards to transact in the point of sale, at the point of sale. That's cashless. You don't use cash. Cash were used for small merchants, like Bakala style, small mini supermarket, or in some situation for the craft services, like the plumbers or carpenter that is coming at home and do some services. So the inclusion of that is happening now with the wallet. But I believe the biggest plan that is coming to the GCC and is gonna take over the entire GCC into a digital cashless society is that the introduction of the digital currencies for each country. So every central bank, the CBDC, which is the central bank digital currencies, they are the coming and they are the ones that would be making the entire society into digital plus cashless. And with that, it's a new era for the fintech and for the way of the payment and the transactions and the transfers and the settlements, clearance, everything gonna be changed. It's a complete transformation and reformation that is gonna happen during the coming couple of years. It used to be delayed. I believe now it is on the agenda, on top of every agenda of any governor of central banks in the entire Middle East, and even IMF been talking about that. So it's a global initiative and a global movement and rise for that. And we believe cashless is going to be everywhere, not only in GCC, in a very soon.
Yeah, I will second Muhammad on that. Maybe the instant payment system that it's implementing between the GCC countries will definitely make a big change and big playing in making people cashless in these societies. I believe, Muhammad, the crypto, I know you are a big fan of the cryptocurrencies. I think crypto still needs some time because of the technology itself. It's not supporting. And I'm sure it's coming. I'm with you 100%. And definitely it will be the next big thing but we don't know when it will happen. It might be, I think, something between 3 to 5 years.
Yeah,
But
my dear, I'm not talking about the crypto in terms of Bitcoin and Ether. I'm talking about the central bank themselves. They will do a synthetic, which is a simulation to the existing currency, one-to-one in terms of value, that they will introduce into the market.
Great, which is, I believe we are talking about the same thing, which is the IPS, the instant payment system that it's happening between the GCC or RTP, real-time payment.
The RTGS, the single RTGS, that will call it. That's different. That's settlement and clearance among central banks, like the one that has been did between, they are working on between UAE and Saudi for using Aber as their digital currency for settlement. So
yeah, okay.
This is going to be extended, but a digital currency for each country, it's coming, and everyone will have a wallet. And the issue over here and the talk that has been running around how banks will be reacting to that, how BSPs will be reacting to that. If central banks issue the currency themselves, they are actually the bank and they are the payment. Yeah. So I believe Abdulwahed has a view on that.
Yeah, in fact, just to comment on your discussion with Mr. Muhannad, I think the wallets, I mean, in Bahrain itself, we have 4 wallets, okay? But I think eventually, will be 1 or 2. We have Benefit Pay, we have Max Wallet, we have STC Pay, we have the B Wallet. But it differs, it differs in terms of your direction and your vision. Coming back to the questions, Nabilah, in terms of the cashless and GCC, maybe I have a little bit a different opinion. I agree with Mr. Mohammed Al-Rashidi that many people, they use the credit card and debit card, and especially lately. But I think still there is sometimes, and still we are a cash-based society, and always Visa and MasterCard, they, when I attend their conferences, they say, our biggest competitor is the cashless society. It's not Visa, competing with with MasterCard, or MasterCard with the, but it's coming, as Mohammed, and it's coming. And that needs a proper coordination. Just to complement what Mohammed said, you have a multi-stakeholders at the GCC level. It should be part of the GCC national financial sector. They should have a strategy, between the regulators in order to encourage. In Bahrain, as I said earlier, that was part of our vision. Our regulator, they are very proactive, and with His Excellency the Governor always. He gave us a target. I want you to be, a major contributor in turning, towards the cashless society. But something that I think we are moving towards that. I think it still needs a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm just going to interfere very quickly. I'm still not the host, Abdulwahed. Please, can you make me the host? Really? It hasn't made me the host, but also have 15 questions that have come through. So I know we've only got 10 minutes, but I wondered, we have some eager participants, if we can do a question speedy time, if that's okay.
I was just going through the questions, and I picked up one of them is basically asking if, digital currencies could replace cash on a long-term basis. And I think another important one is how financial technology companies and payment providers, how could they have been better prepared for a pandemic like this? I think those are the 2.
But the first one already has been answered, I believe.
Yeah.
Digital currency, talking about digital currency, crypto or a digital? Digital is different than crypto. If they are saying digital, this is the central bank's currencies, and I believe we answered that. Crypto, I believe this is depend on the regulation. If they can allow Bitcoin to be mainstream, this is a different story. It's actually a collapse to the entire financial ecosystem if the cryptocurrency is being allowed to be the mainstream. No, digital currency, yes.
Yeah. There's another question on eKYC. What are your thoughts and initiatives to simplify digital onboarding of customers? and businesses in line with international trends?
That should be implemented yesterday. That's yesterday it should be. I mean, some countries already have it, of course, but again, it's about also the entire ecosystem itself, right? So it's not about only, for example, the digital signature as much as it is, can a business owner, for example, have his trade license, everything, and open a bank account fully digital, and then go on through all the different stages before you can start accepting payments online. So it is an ecosystem, but the eKYC, I think, definitely should be adopted, accelerated, and maybe even made required for a lot of the countries.
Yeah, there's another question.
If I may, Nabilah, in terms of the eKYC, we have adopted the eKYC in Bahrain since April 2019. And it is running very successfully. And that was done in cooperation between the private sector and the public sector. That was the involvement of the benefit company, the IGA, which is the e-government institutions, as well as the regulator. And it's working, and we have all the banks onboarding, and it's based on a hyper model, which is using the blockchain. So we've been using, of course, and now we started with the banks, and now we are working, to add other sectors like the money changers and the corporate. So that was part of our plan.
Also in Kuwait, BASI, which is the civil ID issuer, they have eKYC since long time, and they have the e-signature as well. But the process to go and issue it, it was tedious and takes time. You have to go in order to do it. Now they expedite it by doing their own app that have the digital identity. So you just show the app, they have a QR, you scan it, and it goes. But for One Global, the wallet, OG wallet, actually is digital KYC. So in the eKYC, this means that, or digital KYC, capturing the data that is verifying your identity. And then there is another process which verifying these data. So the capturing is either by upload or by the scan. You scan, you use some computer vision softwares to recognize your photo or your selfie along with your documents. So that kind of verification is the one that is we are doing currently, not using AI. We are using the agent in our call center. So they are the one who open the camera and verify and make you cleared. But the next stage is coming that we are adopting AI. So our algorithms are ready to be also doing the complete autonomous, agentless digital onboarding.
I think one more relevant question here is many people use international mobile wallets such as Apple Pay. How do you see competitions and the impact of this on the payments market in the region?
So this is, I believe, Abdulwahed knows very well that, but people doesn't know that Apple is like the card. So it's like the chip, like the chip in the card. So the card itself is issued by banks. So it needs to be issued. The card is not issued by Apple Pay. So you need to make a card on file. It's a card on file, but instead of file, it's a secure element to enable the NFC payment. So you need to have a card from a bank that has been issued, and you just load it inside this. So I believe it's a new instrument for payment. And please, Abdulwahed.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mohammed. In fact, Apple Pay is one of the, of the payment channel that also we are in talk with them. And although we are working on our own project, by the way, and now the world is becoming one. It's one market now, and we are expecting them to come here, and they go to individual banks, as Mr. Muhammad Al-Rashidi mentioned. Now, for us, obviously, we are working on Benefit Pay to become international, and we are about to introduce the tokenization features, which is inshallah, hopefully by end of July or beginning of August, which will be using Visa, MasterCard certificate. That now, which means that we are going from Bahrain, we're going to international. Now you can then, the moment you have this certification, we are by the way towards the end now. It's a matter of security certification, and so this is something that will be having from Bahrain, to the global market. But of course, I mean, Apple, they will come. Normally, I know that Apple Pay, they are more of a closed business. They have their own standard and features, but you know, you have to deal with them. You know, it is an open market, and if you want to compete, then you have to be ready for it.
Okay, there's another interesting question here. What technology are you using for your wallet? Like here it says, do you use blockchain technology for wallet or psychometric profiling? Yeah.
Wallet, you mean OG wallet? We are building everything from scratch ourselves. So blockchain, we didn't use it yet. Actually, blockchain is going to be the DLT only for the transaction, the settlement and clearance, and the storing. Other than that, we cannot do anything with the wallet because we cannot issue our own token. So if I'm going to say I'm a blockchain enabled, this means I have a OGX as a coin or OG coin. And with that OG coin, you have to pay everything inside as a utility token inside the ecosystem and pay for the services. This has not been legalized yet in our region. But in Europe, yes, we are coming on Q4. So October, November, we are launching our token. We have 2 tokens that we are launching out of Europe under the supervisory and prudential licensing from the regulators.
Okay, how could, yeah, I think I said this before, but how could you have better prepared for the pandemic if you had the chance to go back in time and do it?
Good, tough question.
If we can go back in time, we will tell you.
Well, let's say you can. Let's say you can. You know. So what would you have done differently?
I believe Abdulwahed would like to start.
I mean, sorry. I mean, I don't want to take the whole thing, but for us, because as I said in the beginning, you know, we are in this business, okay, and we were prepared, and we have a vision in order to go towards the cashless society, to provide the e-channels, to help, you know, the digital economy and to be a major part of the digital community, and the vision, it is there, you know, already, you know, before the pandemic, but as I said, because of the pandemic, you know, it speed up all the processes. So we are, you know, just because of the nature of our business. Maybe the others probably, you know, a bit different, and maybe the reaction was different. But you know, we were just in it from, you know, before the COVID-19. We were in the pipeline. The only thing that this one, in a way, it helped us, you know, to push the other organizations, you know, to work us in a much quicker way.
For us, actually, I will go again and advise every single offline merchant to just to have an online channel. And yeah, I'm not saying to close the offline business that they have, but at least they have an omni-channel for their revenues. And the online channel now is not like a fancy things for the merchants. It should be something important, and this is just like any other channels they have. So again, I will go back and advise those merchants, and I think it's happening now, to be ready for online transaction, not to delay anything. And as everyone said, we were ready. Actually, nothing we could add on that. Just like maybe. If we have time, maybe we could double our team just to. That's it. Yeah. But in terms of technology and pipeline and projects, we were ready. Alhamdulillah. I think this would make things much easier in the market.
Yeah, I would also second that when it comes to, if you will, warning or telling merchants that, you know, fast enough to do it. And I think we saw enough cases in which the merchants, you know, if you look at food that relied on, or even groceries that were relying so much more on third-party services, or, you know, apps, the aggregator apps or the marketplace apps, they realize that, you know, that comes with its own headaches, if you will. If I was doing 30% online through aggregators and the rest offline, and now I have to go to 90% of my revenue going through aggregators, this is when the need to have, or to should have had your own online strategy in itself in place, became a lot more critical as well, and it could have saved them a lot of pain.
Mhm.
It's already a bust because we born digital. So since we started, since 2004, we are in digital. We are the first in October 2007, launched a decentralized people banking services in Sudan. You can Google it, called Sarah Mobile. It was on Nokia phones. There was no payment at that time. There was no wallet at that time. There was no credit at that time. So we were doing the e-money services on Nokia phones in Sudan for domestic payment and money transfer between Kassala, Port Sudan, and Khartoum on that time. So we were, since that time, ready for that. We've been shut down by regulators, so they were not visionary to look into the big picture in 2007, if this has been there. So you are talking about totally different ecosystem than today, because we were challenging the regulators. We were trying to move them and tell them, hey guys, wake up. There is a big techs that are coming. It's not us that you should scare of. You should scare of Google. You should scare of Microsoft, of Apple. So why you are scared from us? We actually need to help you to move into that. See what is the ambiguity that you are seeing, the vagueness that you are experiencing. We can help you with that. We are the accelerator for you. Turn into another hat, become the startup. So you are the startup and we are the accelerator, and regulator can become the incubator. So to incubate us, that's the new paradigm. That's the new shift. We are very busy in making that happen. And you are having your own community. You cannot say that banks are wrong. No, banks, they have their own legacy systems and their own different segments that they are serving. They have the corporate banking, they have the wealth management, they have. And this tiny field that they don't see it, they don't want to let it as well. So that kind of mindset needs to be changed. With the openness and open-minded people, they are the ones that try to adapt change under their control, under their umbrella. So they can mitigate the biggest risk, which is coming from the big guys. And we cannot say that Bitcoin and Ether is also, the cryptocurrencies is away from that competition. No, it's coming, it's very tough. Because if you see what happened in Zimbabwe, the people didn't trust the currency. What is happening? Why Zimbabwe today is happening in Lebanon? People doesn't trust the currency. They are turning all liras into Bitcoin. At least it's a vault. It's a stored value where I store my money. It is keep going down deflation in deflation mode. And I cannot sustain seeing my years and years of burning my fingers and myself into the business, and now it was nothing. I was in an event in Istanbul, and a very big wealthy man couldn't pay the hotel because the credit card is limited. Exactly. Yeah. We hope, inshallah.
So we are actually over 7 minutes over, and I think we had quite a good discussion about touching every single point in the payment space. And so I can conclude that we are moving towards a cashless society, but it's going to take a little bit of time. And all these things that we've discussed, the issues surrounding it and having to be prepared for it is important in getting there. Emma, over to you.
Hi, thank you so much. First of all, thank you, Nabilah, and thank you to our panelists. You've been brilliant. This is the new normal of events at the moment, so thank you for your patience and slight technical mishaps on my part, so thank you for that. But really, thank you to our audience. I don't know if our panelists have been keeping track of our chat, but it's been non-stop, and I'll make sure I share this with you afterwards. And also maybe there's something we can do for our attendees where we maybe answer the questions afterwards, and I'll collate some responses and share, because there's clearly a lot of R&D going on at the moment in the industry, and I think it seems like it's a good time to collaborate and talk. So I'll make sure I follow up with that information. This has been episode 1 of Payments Talk. So thank you very much, panelists, and thank you to our audience. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.